From Kamenka, the greatest state in the world, it's the late night chat with Chatterbox ladies. Tonight, lunatic candidate, armed citizens, childish parliamentarians, and many others are here. And now, Asucan Odçıkın, İdil Yıldırım, and Behiye İlkay Daşdemir.
Today we will discuss and see our progress on achieving the advance of communist manifesto in the state of America. Actually, we have lots to criticize in today's situation, and this week's event shocked us in many ways, and we still sadly see that our great founding father Karl Marx would be unfortunately depressed if he was alive. So, what do you think first?
Well, when we look at our first written law, it states that the whole of Kamenka shall be declared a single indivisible republic, as you can see over here. It is the core of our foundation of the state. However, although we have merged the people of different ethnicity under the roof of Kamenka, today we start to have some problems.
Then let's take a look at the video first.
How shocking is that?
As we see now, these people are speaking different languages and dialects, therefore communication problems appear in the society actually. And I guess Marx planned to merge the society in order to create an indivisible republic, but how can we manage to stay together when we even do not speak the same language in different parts of Kamenka?
Well, I think Marx aimed that people can get used to this situation after a while, and time make people to stay together, although there are some communication problems. Yet, in the early beginnings of our state Kamenka, it was only the fear that prevents people from revealing such problems.
I agree with you at this point actually, because Marx planned that we will get used to living together even though we have differences, but it turned out that human nature may not hide their differences, so they wouldn't tolerate them. The desire of being together with similar individuals, not with everybody, provides our tolerance, I guess.
Then wait and see. I think you will be shocked with our next video, which shows that there is a gap in the second amendment of our law, which is the Communist Manifesto. But first, long live Kamenka!
Beni evlendirin, bu hayatta çıkartın sevgili Müslüman kardeş.
crime, as it is not forbidden in our law, right? Like, let me read you the second law from our constitution, which clearly says that every German over 21 years of age shall be able to vote and be elected, provided he has no criminal conviction. Therefore, it is very dangerous since a lunatic can drag a country into a war, let alone managing the society.
In my opinion, these people should not even cast a vote. I mean, how can we trust such a person's decision on the government? I think Marx would have omitted the word every from this demand.
But you miss a point there, I guess, because what about women then? When you omit the word every, you have a risk to restrain women from participating in politics, because the word every contains both men and women. The only problem is that it contains mentally disabled people as well. I guess we need a more detailed explanation for this demand rather to omit the word every in here.
And what about having a criminal conviction person? I mean, every person who commits a crime, even though a person commits a crime, does not mean that he has no right to participate in our politics and in our elections. So I think this demand should be fixed something like that. Every Kamenko who is not mentally disabled over 21 years of age shall be able to vote and
Yeah, I guess
it's so much better than our old current provision.
It's rational, I guess. And now we are going to look at another video, which is my favorite, because you will both love and pity our situation. But first,
long live Kamenka.
تقوم الحكومة بدعم القطاع الصحي بنسبة 9% من موازنة هذه الدولة، وإن توفير الخدمات الصحية والعلاجية للأشقاء السوريين مجانا للمسجلين لدى المفوضية يشكل عبئا كبيرا على موازنة الصحة وعلى النظام الصحي، وتشير سجلات وزارة الصحة.
that was my favorite. Am I correct, right?
Yeah, you are correct. It's very funny, I guess. At the same time, it's sad, right?
Yeah, this is so funny. He's playing gay Kamenka bill in the parliament while a parliament continues his speech.
Actually, I'm playing Kamenka bill right now.
Oh! No,
She's kidding.
do we really pay such irresponsible people to represent us in the parliament?
But remember our first law clearly said that we read you. Representatives of the people shall be paid, so that workers too will be able to sit in the parliament of the American people. So, therefore, the sacred parliament of the American nation became a place to earn money, rather than thinking about the welfare of the
Contributing
society.
to our
Yeah.
society.
So people can earn money even by sitting and playing a game just like American Wheel or something else in the parliament, because actually the law allows such a situation, right? It doesn't forbid.
And I might have a different approach, paying people for being a representative of society. And actually, this may encourage them to contribute more since they are getting paid. So maybe it is useful on the other hand. Like, it's not black and white, but it is
You're right, but when we allow even workers to become parliamentarians to earn some money, how can we be sure that people are qualified enough to make decisions on behalf of the government?
And that's another problem.
However, I guess we again miss a point here, because voting decides the formation of the parliament, right? We vote for these parliamentarians to represent us. So when a worker candidate who is not so qualified enough is chosen by the votes of our society, what can we say about that? They chose these workers. And And because it is their decision to choose such a person to represent themselves, even though he is not qualified, so we don't have a word here, right?
Certainly. And this is a very deep issue, but and we have lots to discuss on this demand, but unfortunately, due to time constraints, we have to move with the next event. And it is very tragic event and can be considered as less dark humor. But first, long live coming.
Daha o ayakta bir adam var, onu görmüyor musun?
Abi orada bir sürü adam var. Hangisi?
Aa, yere düşen adamı görüyor musun?
Evet.
Gel. Onun oradan sola döneceksin.
Tamam.
Mı? Dümdüz gidiyorsun. Bunu...
Do you see the danger here?
Obviously.
Like, I think that these people can vote for our lunatic candidate, right?
Yeah, definitely do.
And this is, I think this situation is the misinterpretation of our fourth demand in our constitution, and let me read you. It says that the whole population shall be armed, and armies in future are at the same time to be armies of workers, blah blah blah blah. And imagine that if every citizen has an uncontrolled weapon in society, so I mean we can even be dragged into a civil war, right?
I agree, completely agree with you on this topic as well. I guess we need some provisions, right, in order to protect those kind of things. Maybe the government can spec on the qualifications of these people who have guns, right? Who have mental ability to gun shouldn't have guns.
I think our citizens are very happy with being armed because they feel more secure with a gun on their pockets and etc. I think what we need is here. Our director says something. Oh, we have a phone call.
Very nice.
Behind Kalashnikov, right from his Kamenta. Hello, behind Kalashnikov.
Good evening, ladies. First of all, I must say I really enjoy watching you every week with my family, and I'm really happy to be able to join you with this call. Unfortunately, I called you exactly about the last point you made.
Oh, really? Thanks for your compliments first, but we all listen to your comments then. Yeah?
We are
You made this statement that it is dangerous to make every citizen armed, but I think it is necessary as providing our own protection without any need from government decrease the burden of our governmental life.
But what do you think about the video that we just showed to you? You know, it shows a real situation and it definitely creates a danger.
I personally don't believe that there are such people in our society. These situations are overrated. Even though there can be such people, these do not pose a threat to our well-being as a society.
Well, thanks a lot for your contribution, Kalashnikov, and we are very happy to hear your phone call. And unfortunately, we have to disagree with you on this point because we really don't think that it's overrated, right? Like we see
It's a real thing.
it's everywhere. A guy can even shout you in the traffic, so it is very dangerous. But thanks again a lot for your compliments earlier.
And good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Kalashnikov.
And let's see what we have next. But first,
Long live Kameka.
before and after photos we have a lot in this event. Like, as you know, according to our constitution, let me read you, mortgages on people's land shall be declared state property. The citizens are to pay the interest on these mortgages to the state. So So these are all state-owned property or common property. Therefore, but as you see from the scene, when everything is owned by state, people may choose not to care enough about common properties as they do not feel any emotional attachment to them, right?
Well, I think individual property is a fundamental need, and people want to own private property. And I think it is in the nature of
private property.
She has some evil thoughts, I guess, but she was going to she's like hiding some private property
it's
from the government.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm an honest citizen, and I'm obeying.
We are all Canadian citizens, right?
But so you claim that actually Marx, our great founder and leader, actually ignored some such human nature?
Well, actually, he may choose to ignore it as he wanted to form a united society, and he used a common property to merge people around the same object.
Well, I see that we have an interesting tweet just now, and our director will show you.
Scrolling down.
Yeah,
We are at the same time controlling our Twitter and Facebook and other kind of
Social media power.
Because your comments are important, right?
Because we
as
are
Mr. Carl's phone.
And now I heard that our director can show you now, and I'm going to continue with the tweet because it's about the situation that we're talking right now, and I want to share it with you. Mr. Aristotle tweeted us that the greater the number of owners, the less the respect for common property. People are much more careful of their personal possessions than of those owned communally. They exercise care over common property only insofar as they are personally affected. Wow, this is really wise argument that you think about this tweet. He's like a scholar, right?
He should be a philosopher. Yeah, he should be a philosopher. Yeah. We have this person in free schooling, education, so he can be a prophet. Yeah, he can be a prophet.
And he's a Twitter phenomenon, quite well.
Yeah. Okay, I think he has a point. When we own something by a large group of people, we give less attention to what we own, I guess. Like, however, we tend to care about our private properties more because it directly affects us.
Like, we have an emotional attachment to it. As we see from the photos, that state-owned places can be easily polluted, but as Mr. Aristotle claims, if those places are owned privately by the owners would not have polluted them as easily as they do to common property.
First, we thank Mr. Aristotle for his contribution by his tweets. We really thank you, Mr. Aristotle. Today we discussed a lot, and time has come to an end.
Can you just wait a second? My director says that we have some shocking breaking news.
Oh,
So,
how exciting!
Yes, let's see what happens before we end our show.
Bazen bulanık, bazen duru, bazen coşkulu, bazen sakin akıp giden bu dereden refah çıkaracağız. Mutluluk çıkaracağız, aşk çıkaracağız, ekmek çıkaracağız, iş çıkaracağız. Dereden iş nasıl çıkar derseniz, bunu herhalde izah etmeye benim vatandaşlarım.
Very significant discourse by the CEO of State Bank, Heinz Rubman, right? He clearly stated that they do not have any intention to change the system. And I guess it's the consequence of our 10th Amendment of our Constitution.
Yes, I guess he made this speech because some people are complaining about their system, but let's look at our 10th Amendment. One state bank shall replace all the private banks, and its notes issue shall be legal tender. So So as they can see, there's only one state bank, as you mentioned.
Like, you are totally right. And this clause may give state bank representatives a power to suppress any opposing opinion in the market, since they are the only power in this market. They believe that they can do everything that they want.
Yeah. Actually, the reason is that they don't have any competitors to, what's the right word for here?
Like, to ameliorate the situation.
Yeah, their policies.
And basically, this diminishes the development of our economy, I guess.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And sadly, our time has left. In short, what we told today is that Marx's demanding communist manifesto may not be feasible for today's society, all in all, I guess. And we can argue that we may need to make amendments of our constitution.
Certainly, we have to, I think that we have to make these amendments to improve our society.
Some little new changes, or maybe completely change like sentences to make it more clear.
But we still support our founding father Marx like policies, but we have to make some amendments on the issue.
Yeah.
Well, we will continue to discuss new events next week. Until then, take care of yourself and long live